Hey everybody, Nate Carter here with today's Cornerstone Connection Daily Devotional. I got to tell you about a guy named Trip. Now, literally his name is Trip, and boy, this guy was a trip. He was in my band years ago, and he played hand drums, and he had no musical training at all, and he just banged the heck out of the drums. In fact, before services, he would take tape, medical tape, and just start wrapping his hands, and then he would just go to town on those drums. This guy was a maniac behind the wheel, too. In fact, he ran his car so hard, he literally burned out the engine of his Ford Escort station wagon. But he was a guy that loved the Lord, and he was particularly invested in Boy Scouts, and so he was always going on camping trips. And I was young, and we just didn't have a lot going on weekends, and so he invited me to come along on a camping trip one time, just the two of us. And so we loaded up his new station wagon that he hadn't yet burned the motor out of, and got into the car. And guys, I thought I was going to die. I really did. He drove so fast and so recklessly. But in fact, one time we were coming up behind this truck that was in front of us, and the truck put its brakes on, and we were cruising about 20 miles per hour faster than the truck. And Trip just pulled out into the shoulder and just slammed on the brakes. And I think we pretty much dug up some dirt along the side of the road as well. And he said, I always learned that you got to always have an exit plan. And I was like, well, you could also, follow the rules of the road and go the speed limit. I digress. I thought of Trip the other day as I was reading 1 Corinthians 10 and that idea of having an exit plan. 1 Corinthians 10, starting with verse 12. If you think you're standing strong, be careful not to fall. The temptations in your life are no different from what others experience, and God is faithful. He will not allow the temptation to be more than you can stand. And here it is. When you are tempted, he will show you a way out so that you can endure. So I thought about Trip, always knowing his way out, always having the shoulder of the road in mind so that when he got himself into a sticky situation, he wouldn't end up in an accident, but he could end up finding a way to safely slow down his car. And that's the same thing that God is promising us here through his scripture, is that he will never allow us to get into an interaction where we have no choice but to sin. He's always going to show us a way out so that we will not have to succumb to sin. And I love that promise. Here's something that I've learned about that promise, though. Whereas the promise is still there, that he will show us a way out, I found that the window for that promise is very small, or it can be small. And a lot of times when you're on the brink of making a sinful decision, God will bring to mind a thought or a window of opportunity for you to get yourself out of the situation. But a lot of times that window will close quickly, and then you'll have missed your opportunity and you're already in too deep. And so I say that by means of warning that it's not always a huge exit ramp to get out of a sticky situation. A lot of times it's just a moment in time to extract yourself before you end up involved in sin. So my advice to you is that when you see that window open, you jump through that window immediately and don't look back. Because what I found is if you let that opportunity passed, then you begin to work the gears of self-rationalization and, it's okay for me to sin in this case, or it's not really that bad, or, God didn't give me a real easy opportunity, or it'd just be too hard to avoid sin in this situation. And all of a sudden, you've started to work yourself into just a complacency and a willingness to engage in sin. So let me read this scripture again, just as a reminder. When you are tempted, he will show you a way out so that you can endure. Guys, look for those opportunities today and throughout the rest of your week for God to offer you a way out. Take a lesson from my friend Trip. There is always a way out. Take care. Have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.